In the heart of London's royal borough of Kensington, nestled among sweeping gardens and hidden lanes, stands a palace unlike any other, Kensington Palace. It is not the grandest of royal homes, nor the most famous. But behind its red brick walls lies a quiet power. A place where history whispers, where monarchs were born, and where destinies quietly shifted. The story begins in the late 17th century, when this palace wasn't a palace at all, but a modest country house called Nottingham House. In 1689, King William III and Queen Mary II, newly crowned rulers of England, were searching for a home away from the smoke and chaos of Whitehall. William suffered from asthma, and London's thick air made it worse. They found their refuge in Kensington. To transform Nottingham House into a royal residence, they hired Sir Christopher Wren, the brilliant architect behind St. Paul's Cathedral. With his signature balance of elegance and simplicity, Wren expanded the house into a proper palace, adding grand apartments, wide staircases, and the now iconic clock tower. It was still relatively modest by royal standards, but it had something more valuable than size: privacy, light, and peace. Here, the quiet dramas of royalty unfolded. Queen Mary II died of smallpox just a few years later, in these very halls. Her husband, William, was devastated, and ruled alone until his death after a fall from his horse in 1702. Soon after, Queen Anne took the throne. She loved Kensington deeply, strolling its gardens, planting trees, yet her personal life was marked by terrible sorrow. She gave birth to 17 children, and not one survived to adulthood. In her pain, she found solace in the palace's stillness. Then came a new chapter, the birth of Queen Victoria. In 1819, a baby girl named Alexandrina Victoria was born at Kensington Palace. She was raised here, sheltered and carefully controlled by her mother, the Duchess of Kent. The young Victoria knew little of the outside world. But everything changed on June 20, 1837. At just 18 years old, Victoria was woken early in the morning and told, "The king is dead. Long live the Queen." It was here, in Kensington, that a girl became the ruler of the largest empire in history. After that morning, Victoria moved to Buckingham Palace, and Kensington faded from the center of power. But it never lost its royal soul. The 20th century brought new residents and new stories. Perhaps none as beloved as Princess Diana, who made Kensington her home from the moment she married Prince Charles in 1981. The world called her the People's Princess, and her presence brought warmth and humanity to the palace once again. Here, Diana raised her sons, William and Harry. Here, the press camped outside, hoping for a glimpse. And when she passed away in 1997, it was Kensington where people came to grieve, covering the palace gates in oceans of flowers and candlelight. Today, the palace remains a living home. Prince William, his wife Catherine, Princess of Wales, and their children have lived in apartment 1A, a grand, 20-room suite once occupied by Princess Margaret. But Kensington is more than a residence. It's also a museum, a place of memory. Visitors now walk the same halls as kings and queens once did, see Queen Victoria's childhood toys, or Diana's iconic dresses. Through every age, Kensington Palace has adapted, quiet, constant, enduring. It's not crowned in gold or surrounded by moats. It doesn't dominate the skyline like a fortress. But that is its power. It's a palace not of pomp, but of presence. A place where kings were made, where queens were born, and where one day, perhaps, another royal child will take their first steps in the gardens of Kensington, beneath the same trees that Queen Anne once planted in sorrow, and Diana once passed in hope. Kensington Palace, the heart of royal history, still beating softly in the gardens of London. In modern times, Kensington Palace stands not just as a royal residence, but as a bridge between past and present, a place where ordinary visitors can walk through the corridors once reserved for royalty. Each year, thousands step inside its historic wings, exploring exhibits that tell stories of courage, loss, love, and duty. From Queen Victoria's dollhouse to the dresses of Princess Diana, the palace has become a living museum of royal life. But perhaps its greatest beauty lies outside the walls. The sunken garden, meticulously restored in 2017 in memory of Diana, is a jewel of peace and reflection. Framed by manicured hedges and blooming with white roses, her favorite, The garden whispers a quiet tribute to the princess who captured hearts around the world. It was here, years later, that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle would announce their engagement. Surrounding the palace, Kensington Gardens stretch like a royal canvas, where swans glide on the round pond and families picnic under ancient trees once planted by royal hands. Kensington isn't frozen in time. It breathes. It evolves. It continues to hold the joys and heartbreaks of a nation. A place where monarchy meets memory, where history is not only preserved but felt, in every brick, every leaf, every shadow at sunset. And in that quiet dignity, Kensington Palace remains what it has always been, a home, to royalty, to legacy, and to the enduring soul of Britain. So as the sun sets over the rooftops of London, and the last footsteps echo down its historic halls, Kensington Palace stands, not as a monument of the past, but as a living story still being written. A reminder that behind every crown, every portrait, and every royal name, there was once simply a child, parent, a dream, walking these very gardens.